Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the top 5 disgusting hygiene practices of Queen Elizabeth I. Forget everything Hollywood told. This is the real story, and trust me, you probably wouldn't last a day. So before you get too comfortable, hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of deep dive, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Now, dim the lights, maybe grab a snack. Let's jump in. You wake up in a royal chamber that smells like a scented candle. If the candle were made from moldy rosewater, lead, and centuries of poor decision-making, a rooster crows. You're not a peasant, you're Queen Elizabeth I, Virgin Queen, ruler of England, and owner of some of the most gloriously rank habits in European history. Yes, she ruled an empire, commanded armies, and outwitted death more than once. But personal hygiene, that was the real battlefield. So, pull tight that corset, grab your lace collar, and try not to gag. Because here comes hygiene horror number 1. Let's start with something simple. Bathing. You like hot showers, right? Steam, soap, maybe a loofah. Elizabeth I, not so much. She bathed once a month. On purpose. And before you go thinking, well, that was probably normal back then, let me stop you right there. Even in the 16th century, once-a-week baths were not unheard of, especially for nobles. But Elizabeth, she believed water opened the skin to disease, which makes sense if your medical education came from leeches and astrology. So instead, she relied on layers of perfume, powdered makeup, and finely embroidered gowns to cover up the smell. You ever tried masking body odor with potpourri? Imagine trying to Febreze a corpse. And get this, she once bragged she was clean enough if she washed her hands. That's like saying brushing your teeth counts as a full shower. Hygiene horror number 2. Rotting teeth and the royal smile. Alright, now that we've survived the no-bathing policy, let's move north to the royal mouth. Elizabeth I was known for her dazzling wardrobe, fierce wit, and absolutely terrifying teeth. Think brownish-black nubs, jagged like old piano keys. Why? Sugar. The Queen was obsessed with sweet scandied violets, marzipan, and comfits by the fistful, and with no toothbrushes as we know them. Her dental care routine was more like medieval punishment. Crushed eggshells, soot, and vinegar. No floss, no mouthwash, just a royal diet that could give a toothache to a statue. By the end of her reign, Elizabeth had so many rotted teeth pulled without anesthesia, of course, that she developed chronic jaw pain and facial swelling. Courtiers whispered that her breath could wilt flowers. You think morning breath is bad? Try Tudor breath. Now imagine it delivered with a flirtatious grin and a political ultimatum. And if you think that's the worst of it, just wait until you see what was lurking beneath her makeup, or what the royal chamber pot situation really looked like. Because let's just say the Virgin Queen left behind more than a legacy. Hygiene horror number 3. The face that launched 1,000 lesions. You lean toward the ornate mirror. The candlelight flickers. Your skin looks smooth, powdered, divine. But beneath that flawless alabaster glow, open sores, blisters, scarring. Queen Elizabeth's signature white face wasn't just a fashion statement. It was a full-time cover-up job. After contracting smallpox in 1562, the Queen was left with facial scarring she deemed unbecoming of a monarch. Her solution? A luscious, chalky blend of white lead and vinegar slathered onto her face like Tudor foundation. And yes, you heard that right, lead. The thing we now put warnings on paint cans for. She put on her cheeks every single day. At first, it gave her the ghostly glow of power and purity. But with time, it poisoned her slowly, caused hair loss, skin corrosion, and chronic fatigue. Historians suspect she may have had lead poisoning by the end of her life, which explains a lot mood swings, memory loss, occasional paranoia, basically royal PMs on hard mode. And the kicker? She layered more cirrus over the infected skin to hide the damage it caused. That's like putting a rug over a moldy floor, then pretending it smells like lavender. Hygiene horror number 4, hair. Don't care. Now you might be wondering how about the royal hair. Surely she had some self-care routines there, right? Well, after the lead makeup began dissolving her eyebrows and hairline, Elizabeth started rocking wigs, dozens of them. And while they were high fashion at the time, they were also a breeding ground for lice. You ever left a wet towel in a gym bag for 3 days? Imagine that, but on your scalp. There were no anti-lice shampoos, no scalp treatments, no TikTok hacks for volume and shine. These wigs were powdered, perfumed, and rarely cleaned. So when she wasn't wearing one, her real hair, what was left of it, was reportedly thin, patchy, and likely crawling with guests. The royal solution: just pile another wig on. Problem solved. Out of sight, out of scalp. Hygiene horror number 5. The throne room, literally. Finally, let's talk toilets. Or rather, the glorious absence of them. Elizabeth's court was full of elegant gold-trimmed furniture, fine tapestries, velvet cushions. But when it came to doing the royal business, let's just say, plumbing wasn't invited. Instead, the Queen used a close stool, essentially a fancy wooden chair with a chamber pot underneath. And here's the kicker: it had to be manually emptied, usually by a lucky servant with the title groom of the stool. Yes, that was a real job. Yes, it was considered prestigious. No, it did not come with a nose plug. And when traveling between palaces, Elizabeth didn't wait for stops. She just went wherever she was, behind a curtain, in a field, in a dress so wide you could probably hide a trebuchet under it. Sanitation, optional, hand-washing, aspirational, royal dignity, somehow maintained. And yet, despite the sores, the stench, the spoiled teeth, and the lice wigs, Elizabeth I ruled for 45 years, outlasted multiple assassination attempts, and became a global icon. So what does that say about us? About power? About how far someone can go when they believe in their own legend, even if that legend smells faintly of decaying roses and urine? And if that doesn't make you question your own skincare routine, well, just wait until you hear what she used to clean her ears with. Rotten roses and regal resilience. So now, here you are, nose half curled, brain trying to unsee the image of a lice-ridden, lead-painted monarch sitting on a wooden toilet, wearing pearls. And yet somehow you don't hate her. You're fascinated, because maybe that's the weirdest part of all. Despite the rot, the stench, and the wildly questionable beauty standards, Queen Elizabeth I wasn't just respected, she was revered. Her image, carefully curated, her presence, utterly commanding, her hygiene, an actual waking nightmare. But still, she endured, outlived rivals, made virginity a weapon, made power look poetic even if it reeked of spoiled marzipan and stale rosewater. And maybe that's the real magic of monarchy, convincing the world you're divine, even when your breath could knock out a courtier at 10 paces. Now imagine what was happening under all those silk gowns, or in the kitchens, or in the royal bedchamber after a month without a bath. Let's just say, we've only scratched the surface. There are deeper odors to uncover, but that's a story for another firelit night. Our next video, we're pulling back the velvet curtain on the woman who ruled an empire while her body was silently betraying her. A queen whose limbs decayed while her power remained absolute. A body rotting in real time while her subjects still bowed and kissed her hand. And after that, we'll meet the Duchess who defied centuries of pressure because she knew her bloodline was a ticking time bomb. You've heard the myths. Now you'll see the real horror hidden behind royal lace and gold leaf. The portraits get darker from here.